We're going to start as soon as everyone settles down. I'd like to introduce our moderator, Debbie Schickman. She's the president of the Great and I almost forgot, the vice president of the Nassau County Police and Voters. We have a timekeeper, Howard Schmertz, who will hold up time cards, and there's a minute, and then sign it up.
For now. Just keep
And I'm going to let, I'm going to continue and introduce the candidates.
First, I'm going to explain the rules, and we have a overfull crowd. Each candidate will make a 3-minute opening statement, and I am going to have them draw for first and second, who goes first and who goes second. In the closing statement, it will be the reverse. Questions from the audience are limited to 1 minute. Questions only, no statements. Questions from the audience are limited to 1 minute. Response from candidates limited to 2 minutes. Each candidate will have a 2-minute closing statement. Each candidate has also a red card you see on the table. When he holds up his red card, I will allow him 2 minutes to address the issue of the other candidate. The red card can be used twice during the evening only. I am now going to pick one. Okay. Candidates are Mr. Mejias and the incumbent, Mr. King. Mr. Mejias picked number 1, so he will be going first. I don't want any kind of cheering, booing, anything else. It will take up an enormous amount of time, and we can't get through the candidates' meeting. So, nothing from the audience until questions, and then we'll call on the questions and keeping it to a question only. Mr. Mejias.
Thank you. And first, let me thank the League of Women Voters, not only for this debate, but for every debate you do. Can you hear me now? How about now? It's not working? Can you hear me? No. We're giving that mic. How about that one? How about the one you have there?
Can everybody hear me now? So I was saying that I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters for hosting this debate, and every debate that they've hosted throughout Nassau County and Long Island. It's always been a pleasure to be a candidate in one of their forums. So thank you very much for everything you're doing tonight. Thank you. I do appreciate it. Peter King thanks God every night that George Bush is the president. And he's proven it by voting with him nearly 90% of the time. The last thing we need is another Republican rubber stamp for George Bush. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Dave Mejias. I'm a Nassau County legislator. And I'm running for Congress because George Bush, Peter King, and the rest of the Republican leadership have failed us and are leading our country in the wrong direction. It is time for a change. Senior citizens can't afford their medicine. They have to make a choice between their prescription drugs and putting food on the table. Young families and working families here on Long Island are working harder and making less. We're seeing families that can't afford to send their kids to college because they just can't afford to make ends meet. And our young men and women are fighting and dying in a war with no end in sight and no plan. They deserve better. We need real leadership in Congress who will take our country in a different direction, who will hold George Bush accountable for his failures. You know, the problem with the politicians in Washington and the Republican leadership and Peter King is that they care more about protecting their own power than they do about us. How far will they go? They even let a known sexual predator roam the halls of Congress and then begged him to run for re-election in order to protect their majority. This year, you have a clear choice. Do you want to make a change in Washington? Do you want someone that will hold George Bush accountable and ask tough questions? Or do you want more of the same? Because if you do want more of the same, then Peter King is your man. This year, you have the power to take back America from the culture of corruption in Washington. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. First of all, I also want to thank the League of Women Voters, and I want to thank Mr. Mejias for being here and for his kind remarks.
I just got started.
Welcome back to Catholic school. Anyway. Very serious. We are here for a serious moment tonight. We're talking about very, very vital issues to the future of our country. As far as I'm concerned, our nation changed on September 11th. Our world changed on September 11th. And since that day, I've dedicated myself to protecting the homeland security of this country. Specifically, a year ago, just last month, I was elected chairman of the Homeland Security Committee. In that position, I get access to top secret intelligence, classified intelligence, and I realize more than ever how dangerous this world is and how serious we should take our campaigns, and not just be making idle charges or somehow trying to oversimplify what's going on in the world today. Let me just give you a few examples. In the 1 year that I've been chairman of the Homeland Security Committee, I have managed to pass the first ever port security bill, the first ever chemical plant security bill. Also, I stood up to tremendous pressure, both from the president and from the media and from special interest groups throughout Long Island and throughout the country as far as illegal immigration is concerned. They wanted to push for amnesty. They wanted to look the other way when it came to the issue of illegal immigration. But I resisted that. I passed the first immigration bill in 20 years in the United States Congress last year, just 3 months after I became chairman of the Homeland Security Committee. As a result of that, we've increased the number of Border Patrol agents. We've increased the number of detention facilities. We've increased the use of military technology along the border. In addition to that, we have in the bill, which has not been passed because it was held in the Senate, we have very, very strict sanctions against employers who hire illegal aliens, including up to $50,000 in fines and jail terms. And I also stood up and said we will not have any amnesty at all. It is absolutely essential that we seal the border, that we close the border, and that we realize that illegal immigration has now become a homeland security issue. As far as the overall war on terrorism, I strongly support the Patriot Act. I strongly support the wiretapping of foreign terrorists making phone calls into our country. I obviously also support giving the rights to the CIA to carry out tough interrogations of terrorists they capture overseas. Quite frankly, I'm more concerned about saving human lives than I am the right of habeas corpus to Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. These, to me, are the issues that are going to define whether we live or die as a nation. And actually, if I could just say, as usual, Newsday is interfering with my political career. I can't see the timekeeper because I'm a Newsday photographer, so I'll be listening. Another plot by Newsday is what I keep it up with every day. I also believe that you have, as an elected official, you have an absolute obligation to speak out when you see something that is wrong, and you speak out and say controversial positions, even if it defies what's politically correct. That's why I've spoken out against radical Muslim leaders here in Long Island, in places like the Islamic Center in Woodbury. That's why I call for terrorist profiling at airports, because I believe these steps are absolutely essential if we're going to save our country. And with that, they're calling time on me, and I look forward to the questions, look forward to the debate, and I look forward to going back and forth with Mr. Mejias. Thank you.